Touch is a nose boop to the palm of our hand. We can use this as a way to redirect our dog away from something, or kind of simply get them warmed up, focused, and ready to work with us.
Flash, touch. Yes, good boy. Touch. Touch. Yes, good boy. Nice job.
When practicing sitting down, you'll notice that I reward Flash sometimes a second or third time even for holding a position like sit or down. That is to help encourage him to continue to hold that position and not just get up or even change positions because he's guessing what I'm going to ask next. This is really common with sit to down, where you ask them to sit and then they automatically lay down pretty quickly because they assume that's what you're going to ask next. And so I want to make sure that if he does that, that I kind of reset, ask him to sit back up, and then reward him, and then maybe reward a second, third time if he continues to hold that sit, so that he's learning to wait and listen for the cue rather than kind of guessing what we're going to do next.
Good job. Good job, buddy.
For our recall, you're going to say, Flash, come. And then as soon as he turns and looks at you, you're going to say, yes, and then begin praising him all the way to you. Saying that yes as soon as he turns to look at you is a really important piece of this, because if you don't say that yes, a lot of dogs will not even get moving. So that lets him know, yes, you did the right thing, and then it will get him moving towards you. You can praise him all the way and then reward with a treat. You can practice this in the backyard, just kind of randomly when you're outside with him, bring a couple treats. And throughout that time, just randomly call reward, let him go back. You can also kind of up the game by doing this in other fenced-in areas or even on a long leash in the front yard or at the park to help build up his recall. Place means go there and stay until released with just that one word. So we're going to say place, point to the bed, and then when you're ready to let him up, you're going to use the cue word free. Free lets him know he is free to get up and do whatever he wants. Otherwise, you shouldn't have to say anything else. So you're going to say place, pointing towards the bed. Once he is on it, you can say yes, and then deliver a treat. When we reward in place, we want to make sure that we're putting the reward onto the bed. This helps let him know not to come and get up and try to meet us for the treats in our hands, that all the food comes to him where he is on his bed. One way you can practice this is in formal training sessions like you see me doing here. So I've asked him to place, and then what I'm doing is building in distance, walking farther away, building duration. So walking around, just building that time that he can do it. And then I'm periodically coming back and rewarding him, letting him know you're doing a good job. And then I'm going to keep going. When I reward on the bed again, I do not have to re-say place. He knows that he's already doing it and that treat is just a good job, keep it up treat. So you'll just say yes, give him the treat, and then continue to practice. You can also start building in distractions. I like to start with distractions that are smaller, me stomping, kind of making noise, messing with stuff on a countertop, opening doors or cabinets, things that might actually kind of happen around the house, and then just periodically rewarding. If he gets up and you did not release him, it's simply sending him right back. You're going to say place, pointing to the bed. Once he's on there, you're going to say yes, but you're not going to reward. You're just going to praise this time and not reward with a treat. You're going to try that distraction again, and then if he holds it, reward him. It's really important not to reward immediately when you reset them back to their bed after getting up, because you will get stuck in that loop where he thinks he can get off the bed just to be sent back to get another treat. So if you have to reset him and get him back on the bed, you're going to send him back, make him work for it a little, then come back and reward. These training sessions are just really good to help specifically kind of build up the distance you can move away and build in distractions. And again, when you're ready for him to get up, you're going to cue free, and then you do not need to reward that release with a treat. The reward is he gets to get up and move at his own free will. Another fun way to build in distractions to place and also get your child involved in the training is by playing Simon Says. So you're going to cue Flash to place, and you're going to stand next to him and be the one rewarding him while you ask your child to do things like run around, jump, toss a toy in the air, crawl, roll on the ground, any silly kid things. And then we're rewarding Flash for staying put. Not only does this build a lot of great impulse control for staying on his place no matter the distraction, but also just helps build up that his ability that he doesn't always need to get involved in everything the kids do, which does help cut down on things like biting. And lastly, the other way to work on place to build longer durations is doing this in context where you would actually want him to place. So for me, this is always dinner time. I want place during dinner time so I don't have a dog that is bothering me. And then especially when I have guests over, that your dog is already in the routine and knows what to do when humans are eating. So what you'll do for this is bring the place bed over near you, and then you're going to cue him to place. And throughout your time eating, you're going to just periodically reward him for staying on place. If he gets up, send him back and then keep going. You might find in the very beginning when you practice this, you need to reward a little bit more frequently than maybe you do in a training session, a formal training session. And that's just because he knows that it's a little bit different and you're distracted, and you kind of up the reward, but you can quickly start weaning down on that once he remembers what he's doing and that he knows how to do this. He has been doing this every night with us. And the really great thing about doing it consistently and every time you sit down for dinner is that they figure that out. And so now when we are sitting, getting our food ready, our plates, and we're starting to sit down at the table, Flash is normally already in his bed, ready to go. And I haven't even said anything to him because he knows that when we're at the dinner table, if he's on his bed, he will be rewarded for that. So if you build in that repetition in that context, you will see that he picks up that routine really easy, and it starts to transfer really easy, even in higher distraction times, like a guest being at the house and having dinner with you as well. And my last kind of tip for doing place during dinner time is I do recommend using a food that is something you don't mind touching and then touching your own food. I personally do not like to use dog treats during this time for that reason. And so I like to use string cheese because it's not messy. I don't mind touching it, touching my own food. And it's just overall really simple, and it makes dinner time really special. He knows that being on his place during dinner is going to get him the good stuff. So I just will grab a stick of string cheese out of the fridge when I sit down for dinner, open it up, and then just tear off little pea-sized pieces of the stick throughout dinner and toss to him. Wait means stop and don't go any further. So when we say wait, we're drawing an imaginary line and saying you cannot go any further. But they do not have to be in a specific position like sit or down. They can stand, sit, down, walk around, as long as they do not cross that imaginary line. So here I'm practicing on the stairs. I've told him to wait. I went up the stairs, and then I'm walking around, and then I'm going to periodically reward him, similar to place, by tossing the treat kind of back behind that line. And then when I'm ready for him to cross it, I can use free. I love practicing on stairs so that you don't have a dog that is tripping you going up or down stairs. You can cue him to wait and then release him. And then, of course, this is excellent for the front door, helps build safety practices so that you don't have a dog that is dashing out the door. And then ultimately, if you practice this a lot too, you can do this around other thresholds, even like bedrooms. If there's other rooms in the house you don't want him to follow, but you don't always want him to have to shut the door behind you, you can go into that room. When you get to the threshold, tell him to wait, do what you need to do, and then he should either wait outside the door, or because wait is a little bit more lax than like a play stay, he's able to go do something else if he'd like, because the only rule with wait is that you don't cross that line unless I say free. If I'm stepping out to get a package and I tell him to wait, when I come back in, all I'm going to do is say yes and reward. I do not have to release him because I'm not letting him cross the line. The only time I'm going to let him cross that line and say free is when I'm going maybe up the stairs or taking him out on a walk. Here we're practicing even the scenario where I'm picking up a package and walking away from the door just to see that he will still not run out the door even when I'm not standing there. Leave it means back away from the thing you were headed towards. So here we're practicing with treats dropping because this is obviously a real scenario in our lives where we drop food and not everything we eat is safe for dogs. And so you can practice by like dropping treats, dropping one after another, dropping multiple. Say leave it as soon as he backs away, yes, and he gets rewarded. The other thing we practice is not always having the treats on your body, just because that is, again, a real situation. So here you'll see I've spilled something, I say leave it, pick it up, and then I run with him and we do a praise party all the way to the treats and then get that reward. This is, again, practicing for those real scenarios. So you can practice in real life, but also practice in training sessions just to keep it fresh in his mind of how to do this. Drop it means let go of the thing that is in your mouth. So the first way we can practice this is when we're playing games like tug with him. This goes for the chaser toy tug or a stuffy or flirt pole. So we're going to have him sit, then we're going to let him get it and have him tug. And you're going to make sure you play for a little bit and then you'll cue drop it. As soon as you say it, you're going to wait and pause. As soon as he spits out the toy, yes. And then we're going to reward by tossing one or two treats kind of off to the side. This is building up so that if this was a real situation and he had something he shouldn't, you want to be able to toss the treats away so that he is going to get that while you're grabbing up the item. So when you play tug like this with him, you want to practice it. But the big thing is making sure that you play a lot in between so that he doesn't get annoyed with the game. You can then also practice this with higher value items like we did here, bully sticks, fun things he finds outside, even though they're okay for him to have. It's just a good way to practice. All right, so I'm out on a walk with Flash, and we're just going to talk about leash walking and what that looks like with Flash right now. So he's doing really great. He's starting to walk more and stop less, which is great. Yes, means he's getting more confident, but also just kind of growing up and able to take the longer walks. So right now, he's not doing any pulling, right? Because we're still trying to get him to walk. But while we're working on him walking more and more, what we can be doing is starting to build those foundation skills so that we hopefully don't have to deal with any pulling, even as he gets bigger and more confident. Yes. So the main thing that we're going to do to build this foundation is what we call rewarding good choices. So what this looks like is when he's walking the way we want to. So he's moving, he's at our side, or even a little in front or a little bit behind. Come on, buddy. But he is walking where we would want him to. We're going to mark yes and drop a treat at our side for him to take and eat. Good boy. Come on. It's really important that when we reward, that we reward at our side. Yes. Good boy. Come on. Because if we reward with the hand across our body, what you're going to have is a dog that meets you actually in front. You want to stop and sniff? What you'll have is a dog that's crossing in front of you to meet you in front where your hand comes in. So we want to make sure we're always using that hand that's right at our side, and we drop it at our side. And even if he was a little in front, a little side behind, he's going to come back here. And what this teaches him is that all the good stuff happens right at our side, which is going to encourage him to continue to walk at our side. So that's kind of the main thing we're doing to help build that skill of what we expect him to do and how we expect him to walk. When it comes to sniffing, we want to allow him times to sniff. It's important for all dogs, but especially puppies, to kind of check out the world and the environment and see what all there is. So we want to let him sniff as long as he's within length of the leash and he isn't pulling us. If at any point you're ready to go and he hasn't kind of stopped sniffing, then what we're going to do is say, let's go, and encourage him to keep moving. Good boy. Yes. And then once he is moving, we're going to mark and reward. So we want to make sure that we're not bribing him. We're not putting the treat there and then luring him, that we tell him, let's go. And once he is moving with us, then we reward. So anytime he's walking the way we want, yes, we're going to say yes, and then put the treat at our side for him. These good choices, as I've said, mostly are about like where he's located and that he's walking with us. But other good choices are offering us eye contact and offering us that attention, especially when there are distractions. We want to sniff a lot today. That's good. Even this like checking things out is great because this is not what he was doing a couple weeks ago. He was just stopping and yes, good boy. And now he's actually wanting to engage with the walk, check out stuff. If he starts to cross like this, we're just gonna guide him back over to the side we want, step around, and then keep going. Yes. And again, it's gonna be really important that you're rewarding with the hand closest to him. That will help avoid a lot of that crisscrossing as well. Yes. So some other good choices that I'm going to watch out for other than offering me attention is also, yes, like that, right? He speeds up a little bit. He kind of uses the leash he has and then he slows down and checks in with me. We want to reward those check-ins. Yes. Those are really important pieces to the leash walking, right? We want a dog who is checking out the environment, but also checking in with us. Yes, good boy. And then right now we are rewarding 100% of good choices, right? I'm still rewarding really frequently because we've just got him walking, right, in the past week or so. And so we want to make sure we're still heavily rewarding all of this. So right now it's 100% of good choices. Good boy. And then what we'll start to do as he gets a little bit better, as your weeks go on with him, is you'll start weaning down from 100% of good choices to 75%. Yes, good boy. To 50%, to 25% until you don't need all the treats anymore. Good boy. And it's just going to be a slow weaning process, like I said, of rewarding. Instead of rewarding every good choice, you're going to just slowly wean off how often you do. But you want to do this in slow increments. This way. This way is our cue that we're changing directions. So you've got let's go and this way are two cues you might use on walks. Come on. And again, he still needs a little bit of encouragement, a little cheerleading here and there, especially if there's distractions. Yes. But overall, he's not stopping pretty much at all like he was before, where he was just kind of sitting this way. And just huge improvements from his first one. You can actually go for a walk now, even if it's just like a smaller 10-15 minute walk. Good boy. Good boy. You're doing so good, Flash. Nice job. And that's a wrap on Flash's training.